What's going on, guys? It's Fight Season MMA, and today I want to make a video talking about the second part of the video I did yesterday. How can Ilia Topuria go in there and beat Max Holloway? I kind of talked about Max Holloway yesterday. I'll link that video right here in the tab on the screen. You guys can click on that. I'll also probably leave it in the description as well. But I want to talk about today Ilia Topuria, the other half of the main event. How can he go in there and smash Max Holloway? Because I do think that Ilia Topuria is an incredible fighter. I do think that he's got a lot of things to prove against Max Holloway as well. But he's also got a lot of just like advantages over Holloway in a lot of these different categories that I do think he's going to be able to go in there and exploit. And I kind of just want to talk about some of the stuff that Ilia Topuria can do, because truly he is one of the most dynamic fighters inside the organization and is someone who I could see becoming a long-reigning featherweight champion inside that division for a very, very long time. But he's got to go through Max Holloway first. But before we jump right into the content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe on this video right now just to show you guys the support. And while you're down there, please turn on the post notifications just so you guys are always notified about future content releasing every single day. But without further ado, let's jump into how Ilia Topuria can go in there and dismantle or beat Max Holloway. Okay, so first, I kind of want to talk about Ilia Topuria and what his strengths are going to be over Max Holloway, and I kind of want to build off that. Ilia Topuria, as we know, is a great boxer, probably top 3 boxer inside the UFC, as well as he's going to be a lot better wrestler than Max Holloway inside this fight. So I do think that, yes, Ilia Topuria being inside the boxing department, he might have the striking advantage over someone like Max Holloway. But it's going to be very hard to reach Holloway because Holloway's a lot longer than Ilia is. He's going to fight at a lot longer distance. And Ilia isn't necessarily a boxer who likes to use his long-range weapons that much. Rather, he's a pocket boxer, and someone like Dustin Poirier who's going to be inside a lot more often, rather than Max Holloway who kind of jabs in, jabs out, is a lot faster, a lot mobile, where Ilia's kind of in that guarded stance. So I do think that Ilia Topuria, his biggest advantage is going to be cutting off the cage of Max Holloway, kind of like he did to Alexander Volkanovski. I think if he's able to do that, it's going to be something that really allows him just absolutely supersede everything that's kind of in him in this fight, because he's got a very hard task, because Max is very mobile. I kind of touched that in this fight. But if he can able to use that IQ and that just incredible cutting off notion that he's had in those fights, I do think that that's going to give him an incredible competitive advantage. Also, I think that Ilia Topuria is going to have to, yes, he's going to have to strike with Holloway, but he's going to have to mix it up. And I think I also said this for Max Holloway too, but mixing it up is going to make your opponent very uncertain of what's coming in your direction. And considering of how good Ilia is at grappling, I think that he's going to be able to mix it up. And I do think that kind of ties in, Ilia's going to have to grapple too, and I'll kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone with this. I do think that Max Holloway going in there and like showing Ilia Topuria in the stand-up could possibly happen. I do think that Max could outstrike Ilia. But one thing I know Max Holloway's not going to be able to do is out-grapple Ilia, because grappling is one of Ilia's like strong suits, even though he is a striker. And it's something crazy to say because there's not that many individuals who are that well-rounded inside the organization. So I do think that Ilia is going to be able to control Max Holloway on the ground. I do think he's going to be able to manipulate different submissions and be able to possibly get Holloway out there early. But I do think that Ilia Topuria is going to be able to do the same thing on the feet if he's able to incorporate and integrate every one of those things seamlessly into one another. Like I said, there is nothing harder for a great grappling game than effective striking, and there is nothing better than striking than an effective takedown threat. As I always go to with that statement, Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier at UFC 302. Islam was out striking Dustin Poirier because of the takedown threat that was present constantly in that fight. Not a lot of people talk about that all the time because, yes, I know Dustin Poirier was hitting Islam a little bit, but Islam was out striking Poirier because of that threat of the takedown always there. And Ilia could do the exact same thing with Max Holloway. But also, I do think that Ilia Topuria, being such a proponent in being such a high IQ fighter, which I kind of touched on earlier, is going to be able to have to do different things. He's going to have to set traps for Holloway in aspects that Holloway's not expecting. Holloway is super experienced, but he's going to have to play with his experience against him because he's never seen someone, I believe, as well-rounded as Ilia Topuria. I know Alexander Volkanovski is one of those fighters, but the one thing that Ilia Topuria has on Volk, even if he's not a better striker or wrestler than Volk, Ilia's chin is 10,000 times better than Volkanovski's. Considering that Ilia was able to withstand that Jai Herbert head kick and ultimately get the finish in the second round of that fight, I do think that Ilia is able to eat a shot worst case scenario if something happens. So I truly do think that Ilia Topuria is going to have not a chin advantage, but have a very good chin. But I think that Ilia Topuria in his last thing, and the biggest thing that he's going to be able to do and rely on himself, is be confident in who he is as an individual, as a striker. Ilia Topuria is an incredible striker and grappler, an incredible mixed martial artist. And he has to be confident in that. And he always is. No matter what, Ilia Topuria is probably the most confident fighter inside the organization. He has said multiple times that he is here, that God has sent him here to win this fight and to be the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. And truly, Ilia Topuria is one of the greatest already inside the featherweight division right now. Obviously, all time, he doesn't rank higher than Volkanovski, Jose Aldo, Max Holloway, some of the fighters like that. But right now, Ilia might be the most special, gifted fighter inside the organization, considering that he just has so many different aspects to his game and different facets that he can rip out at different times. He's just absolutely phenomenal inside the organization. And it's something that I have never seen with any other fighter than someone like Ilia being as good as a striker, as a wrestler, unlike kind of like Islam Makhachev in that standpoint. But Ilia in that featherweight division is going to be a massive problem, and I think he's going to be able to pose a lot of different massive problems for Max Holloway. Like I said, I think Ilia Topuria is going to have to blitz on the inside and kind of set some traps up there just to be able to throw Max Holloway up. I think Ilia Topuria going in as a pocket boxing thing, I know Holloway knocked out Gaethje as a pocket boxer, but 9 times out of 10, I'm taking Topuria and Holloway over that match. I think if he can get in there, that's going to be something that he really is going to be able to win it. I also think that if Ilia Topuria is going to be able to get this fight to the ground, there's going to be a major grappling discrepancy between these two individuals, considering that, yes, I know Max Holloway is a great grappler, but also Ilia Topuria is one of the best grapplers inside the UFC. He's top 15 in my opinion, and that's something that's crazy to be said because there's not that many fighters. Probably Islam Makhachev is the only other one who is top 10 or who is top 3 or 5 in striking, but is also top 15 in grappling, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. But also, if Ilia is able to rely on that confidence that he pursues every single time and inside and out to the octagon, it's going to really allow him to just flourish in there, to truly be the matador controlling this entire fight at hand. Because like I've said over and over and over again, confidence is the biggest thing that kind of empowers these fighters. It's the thing that gives these guys a competitive advantage over us. And I do think that Ilia's confidence against Alexander Volkanovski was a big proponent in him winning the belt at UFC 298. I do think that's going to be something that really helps him win against Max Holloway, possibly at 308. Ultimately, Ilia Topuria, great fighter, but I do think that this is going to be a very hard fight for Ilia. But if he follows some of these strategies, I do think that he's going to be able to pry a win over Max Holloway. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and please let me know what you think down below in the comment section about this ways for Ilia Topuria to beat Max Holloway breakdown. Do you think Ilia Topuria can actually go in there and beat Max Holloway? Because genuinely, I do think that this is a very close fight. I kind of talked about this in my Max Holloway outro, that really this fight is a coin flip between these two individuals. Both guys have either way to win. These guys are so good and ultimately are some of the best fighters inside the organization right now. I know Ilia Topuria is like number 4 in the pound-for-pound rankings, and Max Holloway is like number 9 or something, 6, I don't know. He's some number like that. But truly, Max Holloway is one of the best fighters inside the organization, but Ilia Topuria is too, and that's what creates such an individual crazy dynamic into this fight, comparing to where you're putting 2 of the best fighters inside the octagon to face each other in an absolute alpha male match for the century being put on inside the UFC in Abu Dhabi. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the daily UFC content. And while you're down there, please turn on the post notifications just so you guys can always stay updated and notified when future UFC content releases. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon with more UFC content and news.